you're referring to, is that the communication among players?
Yeah.
When they're lining up?
Yeah, again, just pre-snap, there's just a standard that we expect from our guys, and there's so much happening now in the modern NFL. There's so much motion, as you guys are aware of. Like, the best teams in the NFL motion a lot. The toughest teams to cover motion a lot. And it's not just an easy motion like it used to be in 1990, where one guy would move and it was an easy sort of pace that you could key diagnose. Now there's multiple things happening at the formation, as the ball snaps. The snap point, like when that motion is happening, how fast it's happening, and then where the ball snapped, that's a lot for defenses now. That's why it's so tough to defend. That's why everyone's wondering why the offenses are exploding. Well, what you're defending is really challenging, and so you have to really dive into the specifics of what that means. And so pre-snap, we have a standard that we all should be able to close our eyes, and if we didn't see anything and we were just listening, we could feel really good about our chances, and we're getting closer to being that way.
Brandon,
No, we're getting closer to sounding that way, the way we need to sound in order to defend all these special people.
You mentioned earlier that in preseason games that you could have schemed some things to help out some of your tackles. When you talk about Corey, is it scheme that kind of made him so good, or what specifically about him that makes him that good that he's able to block you guys on when you coach with the Rams?
We play a lot of stuff on defense. So from an identification standpoint, we force people to identify a lot. And I think what he was able to do with the quarterback that he was with was they were able to identify what we were in, because he's got 6 or 7 years worth of experiences, and they were able to go into the plan with a good game plan versus us in terms of how to identify what we were in. And then I think from just a pure relationship standpoint, when you have that checks and balances with the center quarterback, there's not going to be anything that the other 11 guys can do that you can't co-sign with. Like, let's say Corey Lindsley was wrong, right? Justin Herbert is a checks and balance, and vice versa, right? When you have that power source in the middle, you have a really, I think, unique checks and balances where you can get your offense in a premium situation, and that's what you want to, be in the NFL. You want to avoid the catastrophe, the tough downs that occur, because you have to block a lot of tough stuff over there. You have to block a lot of good players and a lot of good scheme. And I think what he allows you to do is recognize things quicker, and then what he does is he allows his teammates to play better because of that recognition and that ability to respond quickly. It's I love the question because it's really important to me in how we do things around here. If I give you a piece of paper and I tell you what to do, it will never mean as much as I show you how to do it first and why we're doing it. All right? What I like to do is give life to what's on paper or what's on the screen, so that I can create the buy-in, I can create the investment from the player, coach, whomever. I want to show them exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, and when we're doing it, and draw from a lot of inventory to paint a picture for somebody. And by doing that in a general way first, I think that you create more buy-in, and then what that allows you to do is to get to the specifics quicker. And there's a lot of specifics in the NFL that are really challenging. The adjustments that we have to make are really tough, and that's why I will tell you for as long as I live that there's a lot that goes into an NFL week. In order to get all of that done, your players must have a firm grasp of what you're doing and why you're doing it, because what you're asking them to do is really challenging. So in order for them to be able to go as far as you want them to go, which is a long way, they have to know that it's going to work. They have to know that it's going to work, and that's what I try to do at the front end. Is at the front end show them, hey, this is philosophically why we do what we do, and then when we dive into the deep chapters and to the specifics, then they'll be able to go with you full speed because they know why it's important.
Hey, Coach, back to that buy-in piece and getting players to buy into the philosophy. How much of their input are you relying on in that process to allow them to have ownership of kind of what's going on?
A lot. At first, you're painting the picture, and as they learn more, then that's where the ownership comes in. So, hey guys, we could do this 2 ways this week. We could treat this bunch 2 ways this week. All right, what ways do you like? Hey, Chris, you're the one, Chris Harris, you're the one that are going to be in there in the fire. Hey, there's 2 options here. I like them both. What works better for you? You know, all right. Hey, we're on third down. We got a couple good rush plans. Let's say we got 5-man rush plans that we like. All right. Hey, Joey, talk to me. Which ones do you really like this week? Let's rank them. Okay. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. So that's what we try to do and try to create the ownership within our team. Is go to them and get them in their comfort zone. We know that these plays work, but we know that they'll make them work better, right, based off what they like. All right, and treat Joey Bosa like you were Justin Herbert, right? And that's what we really believe in, and that's why relationships matter, right? Because when you have good relationship, you'll be surprised how many adjustments they can make for you. When you don't have to make the adjustments, they make them for you. They've got some good ideas in the fire as we go on, and we're not there yet, but we will be, and it's happening out there in these practices. It just happened out there in the walkthrough, and that's what we're trying to create here. And that way we can live with the result, and you know, we're not going to win every game, we're not going to be perfect on every rep, but we can be proud of how we're approaching it, you know, and that's what's really important.